Hello and welcome back to Dreamforge World. Just before we start lesson 4, I just want to point out a quick new feature that we have on dreamforgeworld.com. You'll see that I now offer private lessons as well at lessons.dreamforgeworld.com. So if that's something that is of interest to you, the way that works is I build with you, I show you how to build, or everything that you learn relative to an add-on to any course that's in the academy can be used to build real solutions in your context for your business. Okay, so welcome back to lesson 4, where we're going to meet the two coding agents that are my favorites. Everybody has their favorites. These are two of the best ones, and they have the best flexibility and models. They are two of the leaders in the industry, if you didn't know that. And I would highly recommend that you at least try one of them and pick the one that you like and stick with it for the rest of the course. So I may have said earlier that Claude Code is the one that I'm using in the course. Don't switch between Claude Code and Codex. Stick with one. They can all do the same thing. Don't get frustrated, because if something isn't going as expected, it's mostly a case of the agent misunderstanding what your instructions were, or your instructions was too much all at once. So break it in blocks, plan properly, and you'll get much better results. So let me hide my camera. Okay, so the learning objectives for lesson 4 is we're going to define agentic coding in plain English. We're going to compare Claude Code and Codex at a beginner useful level. We're going to pick one agent and install it, and that is ultimately your choice. I use Claude and Codex, so either one. Send your first useful prompt and read the response critically. So breaking it down to the most essential pieces, what is an AI coding agent? Well, a coding agent is an AI that you can run in your terminal, in your editor, on your computer, in an integrated application that does these three things. It reads your project files when you ask it to. It writes or changes code based on plain English instructions. So as a builder, rather than a developer, you no longer have to understand what we call the syntax or the language rules of coding. It runs commands like installing libraries or starting a development server with your permission, and much more. Please understand, if you have confusion about this, that these are not chatbots. They are a teammate that touches real files. They create real products, real applications, and real solutions. And that distinction is important. So you will review what it does the way a manager reviews a junior teammate's work. So Claude Code is made by the vendor called Anthropic. It can run on your terminal, but it can also run in your IDE, your integrated development environment. In our example, I use VS Code, but you can use Cursor or any of the others that you prefer. You will soon discover that there are many different ways to interact with Claude Code, from the command line to their own desktop app and all the code editors and extensions. Codex, made by OpenAI, can also run on your terminal or as an IDE extension, and it is strong at quick focus edits and tight feedback loops. But let me give you a pro tip right away. If you have access to both of them, it's often a good idea to ask Claude to review what Codex did, and vice versa. You might be surprised what they agree with and what they disagree with, and then you, as the human, will decide what is the best solution to a particular problem or the right way to implement something. Now, obviously, you may have access to one and not both, so use the one that you have the subscription to already, and if you don't, I recommend that you start with a Anthropic subscription and then upgrade as you see you need more usage out of it, as you create more products and use it more often. The API route, or application program interface route, is best used by the applications that you actually build, either for yourself or for clients. It is not the process of building them where you normally use the API. They like to say this is pay as you go, but be careful, this gets very expensive very quickly. Don't use it for this building. Use it to do the work that the application needs to do, not building the actual application. So like I said, we're going to use Claude Code in the examples. The steps and codecs are nearly identical, just with a different command name. The prompts you write are the same in both. So to install them, go to the one of your choice. I'll open up and show you these websites briefly to guide you through. So first up, here's Claude Code. Quick overview. Claude Code is an agentic coding tool that reads your code base, edits your files, runs commands, and integrates with your development tools available in your terminal, your integrated development environment like VS Code, also in their own desktop app and the browser. Claude Code is an AI-powered coding assistant that helps you build features, fix bugs, and automate development tasks. It understands your entire code base and can work across multiple files and tools to get things done. So explore here, spend a few minutes to read all the different options. And depending if you're on a Mac or a Windows, use the copy command to install it if you haven't installed it. And you can just paste it in a terminal in your project folder if you've never installed it before. You only have to do this once, of course. And then here we are at developers.openai.com for Codex. If that's your choice, you can go through their quick start steps and how to get started. So I'm not going to dictate how you should start. Choose the one that works best for you. The app, the IDE, the CLI, or the cloud. And if you are on Windows, you can download it here. Just follow these steps and start building. As a small tip, if you are in the CLI, the command line interface in a terminal, you can type Claude --version or Claude --update to look for a new version, and it will install for you. There are a lot of command line options that you will learn along the way, but none of them are necessary in the beginning. So I just want to use this as a very basic example of some of the command line options you have. So then once you are inside the terminal, you will do a few useful prompts. So you just open the terminal and then you ask it for something. So you can literally cut and paste this, like telling it to create a tiny HTML, this hypertext markup language called hello.html. This is the way that WordPress websites were built in the old days. So you'll build a very simple HTML page. Put whatever you want on it, like hello world, and a short paragraph below it. Then you change the prompt in step 2. So you tell Claude, literally, change the heading in the hello HTML to say my name and add a friendly tagline underneath. And then you try to repair something that's broken. So you might paste the actual error message if there is one. So you could say, when I run npm run dev, that's Node Package Manager, run development server, I see this error. Just copy that error, paste it and say, can you explain this error? Can you fix it for me? Why did it happen? How do we prevent it from happening? That's the way to talk to these agents. You can do an explain prompt when you're learning what something is. You could tell the agent, tell me in plain English what package.json is. What is a Next.js project? Keep it short in your response. You can tell it, keep it detailed if you want detail, and so on. So try these, and you'll soon discover how this works. So how to read the agent's reply. So here's some useful habits. Number 1, read the file paths that it mentions to you. The agent often might say, I will edit source/app/page.tsx. Confirm that path exists and that you understand which file it's actually changing. Look at the file. Don't have to understand the code. Just know where it is and take a glance at the code. You can at any time take some of that code and ask it to explain what this feature or function or block of code does as well. So I guess my tip here is don't just tell it what to do, ask it questions and explain to you what it is doing. That's how you're going to learn, by doing. Number 2, run the result. Always run the dev server or visit the site after a change. And if it doesn't work, that is your next prompt, a fixed prompt. You ask why. If the agent does something you did not expect, send why did you choose to do it this way? Why did you do that and not what I told you to? These agents, when they misunderstand, might drift into a direction that is not intended, and that's usually because your plan wasn't detailed enough or too much all at once. So a few tips on what to never do. Never paste your secrets. That means passwords, your API keys or application program interface keys or tokens or anything like that into a prompt. There is no legitimate reason your agent needs them for this course either. Never let the agent run a command you do not understand without first asking it to explain. Never accept an answer that deletes everything and starts over without thinking about the consequences. Saved work is important. You will set up a safety net to help you recover from mistakes with Git in lesson 7. So let's review a few common mistakes and examples of bad prompts. A vague prompt is something like, make it better. The agent doesn't know what you mean when you say that. The agent will guess, and the guess is rarely what you wanted. So talk to it actually like you would talk to a human for the most part, and the results will immediately improve. Asking 5 things all at once in one prompt. Don't do that until you see how much the agent can absorb. And once it's built what we call context, it will understand a more complicated prompt. So start small and build upon that. As the context window grows, of course, there's the catch-22 situation that eventually it will start what we call hallucinating and lose accuracy in the context window. That's when you might want to clear at a good stopping point and start a new session. Ignoring errors and asking for new features. Errors block new features. Always fix the errors as you work. Don't build up a list of 20 errors while also adding new features. That's a big mistake. Avoid that. So if you haven't installed one already, pick one, read about them, and install Claude Code or Codex. Run it once in your terminal and confirm that it responds. Use the build prompt above to make a hello HTML file. Test the file inside the throwaway folder. You're not going to keep this. This is just to see that it's actually creating something based on your instructions. Okay, so you're going to open the file on your browser by double clicking it and confirm you can see the heading. You're going to send a change prompt to update anything in the heading or a paragraph that you might have added. You're going to refresh the browser and confirm it has changed. Sometimes you might have to stop and start the dev server. That's with Control-C and then npm run dev, as I will demonstrate. You can delete the test folder when you're done. The point is to feel the loop. This loop from going from prompting to file changes to see the result. So let me show you a quick example based on my own personal website where I'm writing a book. If you're not familiar with the old command line syntax from days of Microsoft DOS, the disk operating system, dir shows a directory that shows you the files, cls clears, and if you type help, you'll see many other command line operating system related commands that you can use without the mouse. You don't need to use most of these for agentic coding, but they can be useful if you prefer to use the command line. So here you can see I typed Claude space -- version, and I'm currently on version 2.1.128. Let's see if there's a new version for me. So it's going to check for latest version online with Claude -- upgrade. And if there is, it will install it for us. And indeed, there was a slightly newer version. So we now on 2.1.1.131. To launch Claude then on the command line, you just type Claude like this and press enter. And right away, we are inside Claude. And some things to point out, I don't want to overwhelm you. Just start by typing /help like this. And from there on, you can experiment as you need. Escape is to cancel. Shift tab is to cycle from automatic, accept your edits. Plan mode, so always when you plan, stay in plan mode. If you want automatic, then that means you trust the agent to do work for you, and so on. So shift tab to cycle through this. So let's say, in my case, I might say, can you summarize in 3 sentences what this app does? Hit enter. You'll see it creates these funny verbs don't really exist and shows you the token that it's using. So I'll show you what it says when it comes back. So it says, this is the personal author website for Emile de Tooy, built with Next.js 16 and Tailwind CSS. It showcases his upcoming novel through a hero section, a book excerpt, an about bio section, an email sign-up form powered by Resend for readers to join a mailing list. The site is essentially a single-page marketing landing page for the author and his book, with a buy me a coffee link in the footer. So, as you work, this already illustrates how you interact with an agent. So I won't bore you with my website anymore. It's your turn to try this. As always, work through the quiz on your own. And when you're done, mark it as complete. And then in the next lesson, we will get into creating your Next.js site without writing any code. This is where we're actually going to create and generate the files, or I like to call it the foundation, or the boilerplate infrastructure skeleton, if you want to call it that, that you need to be able to build applications on top of that foundation. So see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.